What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about SoFi. Pretty epic day. I want to give you an overview of what really drove it higher, go over some of the data points and what shorts did. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 4.86% in the green. So round of applause for SoFi because it was able to get over a very key resistance level basically like with no trouble whatsoever. So very good stuff, but more importantly, a lot of money was getting into SoFi today. So 56.6 million shares were traded, 53.9 is the average. No official news whatsoever from SoFi, but after hours, you did see a definitive 14A. So ultimately that is a shareholder meeting that is scheduled for May the 21st, 2024, in order for you to vote on these four proposals or potentially ones, added afterwards. You do have to have held SoFi as of business day, March 28th, 2024. So again, if you're trying to buy it right now, just to participate in this, no dice, but still nothing really crazy when it comes down to these four proposals. So pretty standard stuff, all in all. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But one of the biggest driving factors for SoFi today, aside from just the broader market's optimism, was a new analyst rating, more specifically from Citibank. So Ashwin, who does have a 56% success rating, did initiate coverage, $11 price target. And then as well, you did have Mahir, Bank of America, who has a 68% success rating, did maintain their hold rating, and both were done today. So when it comes down to analysts, let's talk on that for a second. There has been quite a lot over this last week, and normally that does not happen. You typically don't see analysts giving ratings on any stock 2 weeks before their quarterly earnings. They would much rather just wait until that does pass. So in reality, analysts, I feel, are anticipating another home run earnings and probably are trying to keep their good ratings up essentially. And one way to do that is to obviously analyze SoFi, and a lot of analysts are starting to come out very optimistic. You notice how it's been a good roughly about 3 weeks before either Giuliano or David or potentially Jeffrey did give a rating, right? Because they're going to look stupid as hell. So in reality, I see all of this as very, very optimistic, and no doubtably institutions caught on to that and started to buy the hell out of SoFi. So pretty good stuff behind the scenes. Hopefully more do come out before their earnings, but again, after the earnings, anticipate a lot of analyst attention. So a lot more analyst ratings and whatever else. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. When it came down to shorts, they did actually double down, but clearly didn't really result in anything. So looking right here, so shorts did end up increasing about 4.09 million shares. That works out to be a grand total of 200.15 million shares overall are being shorted, and that's 20.31% of the free float being shorted. Utilization is 69.28%. So shorts did most of their damage right here, as you can kind of see right here. So they did their damage around 9 o'clock this morning, and you can tell that based off of right here. So you can see on the intraday, it looks like they started to really increase and double down around 1400 GMT. Just obviously for you guys to be aware, I'm in Central Time, so 1400 to Central Time is 9 a.m. So ultimately right here is when they started to kind of try to bring SoFi down, but no dice. So I think the bigger institutions really fucked with shorts today, pardon my French. And interestingly enough, they didn't actually return. They just kind of doubled down first thing and just maintained. So maybe they are anticipating maybe some pullback, but based off of this, SoFi was able to close above another key resistance level. So I think all in all, that is fairly good. Moving on though, $6.41 million in calls being purchased versus 1.84 million in puts. Sentiment wise, 53% of all the options being done today were optimistic. And of the call options that are being purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above $8. Fairly easily, in fact. And then looking at puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub 750. So risk versus reward, very much in favor of more upside. And just to give you a quick overview of some of the institutional purchasing that has been happening today, a lot. 2.86 million, 9.27, so quite a lot of transactions. And I do bring this up every day, so you can already tell that there's like 10 times as many transactions as previous days. Similar goes for dark pool though, so a lot of big transactions being done there, 12.7 million, 7.8, 4.31, so a lot of transactions done fairly recently after hours. But aside from that, quite a lot of transactions, and my apologies once again for going so fast on that. So you can always pause it and read through it. But moving on from here though, with it closing at $7.76, it was able to successfully get over this pivot point of $7.75. And I am looking at the 1-day chart, so that does mean that was a very strong resistance point. So I think overall that's fairly good. After hours it's pulling back slightly, 0.9%, but in my opinion, nothing really crazy to write home about. So going into tomorrow, you'll want to watch for it to stay above this pivot point of $7.75. And for as long as it does that, then it is good as estimated to be above $8. So very, very good start to the week nonetheless. Looking on the technicals, so right now it is higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, and most likely, depending on if it does continue this positive momentum and institutions keep buying it, it will be testing that 50-day moving average tomorrow. So kind of just stay tuned for that. On the stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red as well. It is at 68. As I said in my video, I think it was even yesterday, on some expectations for this week, that if SoFi does continue to trend up, or whether it's in the status quo, ultimately it is going to be considered very overbought. So ultimately you might need to see a pullback essentially. So you might see that in the next little bit, possibly as a result of CPI, dependent on that data, and that is coming out on Wednesday. But no matter what, I feel like the overall trend is still very, very positive. And number of retail investors have been getting in over this last little bit. So today was a very good day because both institutions and retail were getting in SoFi. If you were one of those individuals that, for instance, did buy SoFi, give yourself a shout out in the comments below, or if you sold, let me know why. I'm kind of curious. Do you think it's overdone? Do you think that this rally today was not really justified? What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.